Okay.
Well, I want to welcome you, of course, to 2012, this session of the General Assembly, because this is the second part of a two-year cycle. So we have a lot of bills out on the calendar we're dealing with, the Department of Administration. What do we take out of the Budget Control Board? What do we give to the governor? So much of the debate was over where stuff was going to go, rather than the debate being, are we actually shrinking the size of government and making it more efficient? Just shuffling chairs on a deck doesn't necessarily mean that you get a better result out of things. That issue's up. The appropriations process, flexibility, spending limitations, trust funds. Should trust funds be rated? Should a government agency be able by interpretation to impose taxes on you? Should regulations be able to go into effect without ever a vote of the General Assembly? You know, one of the problems in Washington, D.C. has been that the Congress has ceded so much authority to the executive branch that we're on the verge of possibly picking up like cap and trade and other things that should pass through the Congress that pass through the hands of bureaucrats and imposed on you under the force of law by regulations. We don't need that to happen here in South Carolina. The framers of our Constitution knew well that too much power in one place, although you can point the finger and say that person is accountable, what good does it do if your money's gone and a piece of your freedom's been sacrificed along with it? So the question needs to be, how do we protect you, the public, from an ever-growing government? How do we stop that ever-growing government from getting too big? How do we protect your freedom? How do we keep a balance of power here in Columbia so there are checks and balances to ensure that you, the taxpayers and citizens of South Carolina, are protected in the way that the framers of our Constitution envisioned that this system should occur? I have tried to, over the years, familiarize myself with what goes on. There are hundreds of bills. Things come out on the floor. Amendments pass. And you have to sit there and be attentive to those things. And so over the coming months and years, I try to spotlight for you what's going on here in Columbia. I see regulations where they try to, for instance, change how money's distributed in education when we haven't even passed a law to change that distribution formula. It's things like that that we need to make sure don't occur, and then you wake up one morning and say, why did that happen? And you ask a legislator and they say, well, we never got that up to a vote. Well, you see, things like that happen when you lose your checks and balances and your limitations on power. So it's important to understand that government is not naturally efficient. It takes a vigil watch on it. It takes spotlighting where money is going. And it means trying to save the taxpayers' money and also save the future for the state.